Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we are going to do a race recap of the Ultra Trail of Barcelona. So the Ultra Trail of Barcelona is in San Frutos de Bag, which I think in Spanish means fruit of the trees. The location of the race was about an hour north of Barcelona, but it was still in Barcelona, so that's why it's still called Ultra Trail Barcelona, but it's an hour outside, so it's literally nowhere near the city. We rented a car from the airport when I arrived, and I think this was the best way. You can get the train there, but because of the early start, we would have had to book a hotel, so we decided to stay in Barcelona and leave early in the morning. We left at around 6:30, something like this in the morning. I thought the location was really cool. There's loads of rolling hills and you get a really nice view of the peaks of Montserrat. And you have really nice vegetation and trees. And it's completely different to the city of Barcelona. So on to the race organization. I thought it was done really well. Bib pickup was super easy, and the communication was really great before as well, with emails and their social media. And on the course as well, you could see the flags. It was really well marked, and didn't have a problem with any of the aid stations. So the race route, for me, I personally didn't like it so much. I thought it was a bit boring, and it mainly went through abandoned or what looked like closed quarries. Which were a bit uninteresting for me, and a lot of it went on to dried up riverbeds as well, so it was really quite tough on the feet. So it was okay. It wasn't one of my favorites, and when you reached to the top of the quarry, you did have a nice view looking to the peaks of Montserrat, but you didn't really, didn't last very long. It was only a couple kilometers, then you went back down and you went back into the dry riverbeds. For me, it wasn't the most amazing picturesque route. So I'll talk about my race. I was really happy with my results. It was 38k in total, and I did 4 hours. I came 31st overall, I think, and 18th male. So I was really happy with this result, and I did push a lot, as I really want to see what I was like at that distance, in preparation to the UTS Snowdonia 55k. So to do it in 4 hours, I was really happy with. My nutrition for the race, so I took Bix carbs, and I also took Morton gels, the 160s, and I also had NAC powder as well. So I had the Bix powder and the NAC powder. So I put all the information on Strava, but overall I had 300 grams of carbs mixed between fluids, gels and solids. I also had a Morton bar as well, and then I took around 3,500 milligrams of sodium. I took some before, some during, and then one afterwards as well. It was quite hot, the race. For me, I didn't feel dehydrated, or I didn't have any problems with hydration. Everything was kept equal and level, and felt really good during the race. So on to what I didn't like. I understand that you need to have safety for the course, but they asked for mandatory gear. They asked for a jacket, long sleeve and long pants, and I thought that was completely unnecessary, considering the highest elevation point at the top of a quarry was 500 meters in elevation, and it was almost 30 degrees that day. We were not around a mountain range. I didn't particularly see an area where maybe there was weather coming in because we're on an exposed route or something like this. We were very much down in the trees, down on dried up riverbeds. So I thought it was pretty unnecessary to carry all that gear. I've carried less gear on mountain peaks at the same time in Switzerland, for example. So I thought that was a little bit unnecessary. I already picked on the race route. I didn't think the race route was that interesting. And it was, just was a bit boring. The aid stations, they lacked any food really. I only saw a couple of watermelon and some bananas. I think I saw candy in one aid station, and the rest was just water, which is great, but they really lacked any diverse things to eat or drink. I think I did see some power bars, but I wasn't going to try any new food like this. But yeah, I thought they were a bit sparse. And also going down to the finish line, when you finished, you could only get a water or a beer, and you had to take the water. But obviously, I wanted more than just a bottle of water, so I think also with the whole not using plastic and things like this, you had to choose a beer or a water, and obviously sometimes you want both. And also it was just a small 300 ml bottle of water. So if I was really dehydrated, I would have wanted more, and I wasn't allowed to have more. And the food that they had at the end, they had this big tray. I should have taken a picture of it because I thought it was hilarious. They had this big tray of just salted nuts, just in one big tray, and people were just grabbing their hands to it, which was pretty disgusting. And then they also had this chocolate cake, which when it's really hot and you've just finished a race, that's not what you want. Maybe an hour or two later, but I wasn't going to put my hands on a chocolate cake. Apparently it's a local tradition. I'll try to find the name of it, but it's a local tradition that they have this cake. So it's not particularly what I want to be eating at the end of a race. And also when you cross the finish line, because there was other races, I was doing the 40k or the marathon distance, which ended up to be 38k, but they called it the marathon. When you finished, you arrived towards the backpack of the 23k, I think it was. So there were, I must have on the last 4k, I must have passed about 50 people, and it was really difficult to pass some of the people on the tracks. And when you got to the finish line, everyone was just in front of the finish line, not behind it. So I had to
Ambush! Move.
There's a bit where my fiance was filming and I shouted at someone to move because they're right in the way when you had to go around a corner. So they were just standing right in the way. So it was really frustrating when at that point I was absolutely dying. I didn't want to be rude, but I was dying and I just wanted to finish the race. And everyone was just standing in the way. So I thought that organization at the end was a little bit bizarre, and having to turn up in amongst the back end of a shorter race. I thought maybe that could have been dealt a little bit differently. So overall, I had a good time. I would do it again, I think. They have some really good distances. They also had, I think they also had a 50k and a 70k, and then the 23k, and then the marathon distance as well. So overall, I would do it again. And if you're in Barcelona, definitely try to check it out. And I had a great time, and I'll see you in the next one.